From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, life itself, enjoying all those things. I'm Ken Knapsack.
I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
And we're here to talk a little Star Wars news. We are entering the age of Maul. We're fast approaching the Mandalorian and Grogu. In fact, I'm already trying to see who I can beg to be a +1 to any kind of screening events. It's not going good. But we have some other stuff to get to today. But before we do that, let us go ahead and remind you that today's podcast is brought to you by our merch shop on Fourth Wall. Check out our merch store. Pick up a t-shirt to help support the show and represent ForceCenter out in the galaxy, or a pint glass, or something else up there. As I said last time, get a tote bag. Tote us around with you. Ooh, who doesn't like a tote? You can go visit it at forcecenter-shop.fourthwall.com, forcecenter-shop.fourthwall.com, and check out the items there. Don't forget, we're also on TeePublic still as well. That's the ad for Fourth Wall, Joseph, but we're also highlighting where we can be found.
That is right. We can be found on Blue Sky and Thread, so if you want to give us a follow, that would be great. We did pretty damn good this week about actually posting about the shows on those social media sites, and I think this week is going to be even better at posting. And maybe I'll set a goal to post one just here's our episode thing. To get some of that social media engagement going as we head into the big Maul and Mando times.
That's the ultimate goal right there. Maybe some quick reactions. But I'm looking ahead to my week. Holy moly, it's a busy one. I haven't even posted on my social media for myself. I haven't said, hello, here's a squirrel, maybe a little bit here and there. It's just been one of those stretches at time. As always, Jennifer Landis sends her regards. Don't forget, Jen's out on a little bit of a sabbatical. We'll return sometime in April. Life Adventures, this is where we get to catch up on things related to Star Wars and our life. I will say, as always, when we're in the middle of a Star Wars ranked kind of prep, my Star Wars adventures and life adventures are usually wrapped up with that. So a lot of time spent with Rogue One, which is our episode coming out on Wednesday. But also... just kind of doing the look around my house and still kind of looking at all the merch that might need to go or that I might want to keep. And I stumbled onto my little plush Salacious B. Crumb, and I just was like, Sally B will stay with me till the end of time. So
nice.
That's my Star Wars adventure, realizing he is one of the all-time legendary characters for good reason.
Nice. How are you feeling? Because about the merch decrease, because I know it's kind of a double-bladed sword of, we don't need all these things to show our love. I say surrounded by action figures. But are you feeling good about it, or is some of it a little melancholy?
No, I'm feeling good about it. I honestly feeling good about it. It doesn't mean I don't take a swing through toils or see some of the announcements and think, oh, that would look great on my shelf. And we might have a conversation on Friday a little bit with our buddy Ken Plume about the prices of things right now, which are related to world events and geopolitical events and everything. There's a lot going on with that. But that aside, even as I prep to sell some things, which I keep threatening and do over the years, but if I'm packing up, putting stuff in boxes, if I move, it's still, my life's in flux right now, but it's okay. I'm having, I think I've talked about this before, but I do liken it to being some of the things that I've loved in the past, which defined me. I was one of those Beatle nuts for a while, and I still am, but McCartney's new song sounds great from this album that's coming out. Sports fan, my love of the Yankees and the Dolphins is present all the time, but it's just like, I go in waves, and you have those moments where you kind of feel guilty that you're not going full pedal to the metal on collecting. And 2014, 2012, 2013, but definitely 2014 was when I was like, oh, we get to do this again, and I'm going to make sure I don't miss anything. I also had the income to do it, different conversation, and the prices weren't where they are now. And so I've come to realize that was true, that was authentic. But it also was a little bit of like, I'm not going to do what I did in '83 again, which is not get enough and not save enough and not. And I think for me, and I know it's different for you and others, but so once I started pulling back, I realized I think some of my collecting in that 2014, 15, 16 age was just kind of a hungry hippo of let me get all these things as opposed to get the things I love. If that makes sense.
It does. It does. I need to not. I'm just out of room for action figures because I had the same thing of like, I will repair this wound where I never had Hoth Luke by getting
Yeah,
any action
exactly.
figure I want. But sometimes then it does become about the great Star Wars lessons. The ones I end up displaying and cherishing are the ones I want because I love them. And then every once in a while I pick one up out of a fear of loss of, what if years pass and that one's not available or it becomes expensive? What if I lose out? And the ones I get out of fear, I don't end up spending as much time with. The ones I get out of love, I end up spending time with. So I've been, when I'm in a toy aisle or my fingers floating over the order button, I try to think about, is this coming from a place of love or a place of fear?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And Sally B is coming from a place of love. Stay in my collection. Those are my
Sally B.
adventures.
Awesome. Well, I had kind of a big Star Wars adventure. Ken and I were running late this morning when we recorded Rank, so I haven't had a chance to talk to Ken about this. But I'll put the headline out there and then put out more detail. This weekend, I got to meet and speak with Ben Burtt, one of the most important human beings in the history of Star Wars and in the history of sound design. Lucky to have lots of fun and cool opportunities that come up in Los Angeles. We live here with the Academy Museum, which since they opened, have a great display about genre storytelling, some cool Star Wars stuff on display. But it had this specific exhibit that was put together by Ben Burtt called Behold. And it was this surround, basically like 3 screens combined together that was playing through sort of like the history of science fiction storytelling. And it was this great editing achievement and great sound design achievement. And it really celebrated a lot of what we talk about on ForceCenter of the sort of the fun and the weirdness and the humor of pulp and genre in serial storytelling, while also kind of driving home, but there's a heart to it. People dream of the stars and then they're frightened of the scary things that they might encounter. And they're rewarded by the connections they make, and just a beautiful, amazing exhibit. And the Academy is closing it down because they're rotating. So they had Ben Burtt give a little talk in this tiny space. So like, okay, we got to go. Give a great talk, talked about the designing the lightsaber sound in a way that I haven't really heard him talk about before, that made it even more personal. It's just fantastic. And he's very, very friendly. And I really wanted to ask him about this short film he made. Before Star Wars, he made a parody of serial films called Rod Flash Conquers Infinity. And it's shot with his buddy at the Vasquez Rocks, experimenting with trick photography and stop motion dinosaurs. And there's a little clip of it in a documentary about sound design called Making Waves. And I've always wanted to see the whole thing. So I kept raising my hand to try to get in on the Q&A, and it didn't happen. But then people were approaching him. And Ken, I thought about you talking about, that time we saw Phil Tippett and whether you should have said hello. And I was just like, nobody else is going to ask him about Rod Flash Conquers Infinity. And I want to know if he's ever going to make it available publicly and try to encourage him. So I kind of approached him, and then the people at the Academy were like, well, we've got to get on to the next thing, but people can walk with us. So I followed, and then, eventually he got to his next thing and turned around and was talking to somebody else. And I could see that people at the Academy were really like, we need to cut this off. But he made eye contact with me. He was like, like invited me to ask him. So I told him that I love the few minutes that I'd seen. I'd love to see it. And it was nice because I think, it's not the thing he always gets asked about. And he was like, really? You want to see that? Like, yeah. It's like, it's only 8 minutes, and I shared like 2. And I was like, I need the other 6 minutes, man. And what I tried to express to him is like, it's fun and funny, and it's cool. But I just think it's so cool that this man who went on to have so much importance in Indiana Jones and Star Wars and stories that were based on old pulp and serial storytelling, loved genre and pulp and serials before he got hired. And I think it's so important that, like, great, John Williams, amazing contribution. I don't know that he loves Saturday morning serials or space movies. I think Ben Burtt's contribution is his amazing skill as a sound designer, but also that he was one of the first people who came on Star Wars who got it and loved it. And this short film he made is like, to me, it's a part of the history of cinema because it shows his love of the pulpier side of Star Wars before he helped to make the pulpier side of storytelling one of the most popular forms of storytelling on the planet. Yeah, so it was really fun. He's really, really kind, and laughed and said that's funny that I was asking about Rod Flash Conquers Infinity. So it was just really nice and really heartwarming.
I think this is a great story, by the way, and Ben Burtt always just seems to be nice, and I believe chosen by the Force to be where he needed to be, so that the idea of getting blaster sounds and everything was not foreign to him. It was like, I got it, I got this. I'm just gonna figure it out. I think you should find a way to get the rights to Rod Flash and make a feature with Ben Burtt. Say, I'd like to turn your idea into a feature.
Into a feature film. Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah. Svetnik kindly is mentioning that just like you're talking about more as your journey into sound design, talked about directing, but I know you've done some sound design for your films also. Yeah, that was the other thing is I got to do the just plain old fan. I've really been inspired by you because I did a lot of the sound effects for the short films I've done, the sound design, and I learned how to do it, the philosophy of it from listening to Ben Burtt interviews. And it is just joyful because it's just, hey, I'm going to hit a lemon with a hammer and see what sound it makes. It's just playful.
It's fun.
Yeah.
That's good.
A very big Star Wars adventure for me this week.
That's a great one. No, that's legendary. Yeah, and take lessons from my failures in the past. Go up and talk to these people. Frank Oz, Phil Tippett. God, Peter Mayhew was another one, but he was at the end of a long night and didn't want to bother. But anyways, great story there. Great story. Well, that's our Star Wars Life adventures, but we've got some adventures into Star Wars news. I describe it as no, it's not a light week. No, there's a lot there. Yeah, what do we got?
Yeah, there is actually, we have several little stories. It's kind of the weirdest one for the headline, and partially because it's about Mando and Grogu, and we do need to think about that stuff with the thumbnail. But here's the deal with metadata, the mystery of the metadata. In a search to find out secret details of the Mandalorian and Grogu film, folks have been digging into the metadata of images released from Empire Magazine articles. And there's this one specific image that's kind of spoilery that we're not going to talk about the spoiler part of it, but it contains the image in our thumbnail of the Imperial Shadow Council member, played by actor Johnny Coyne, as well as an unidentified Iktashi, same species as Sase-10, or someone in our comments called him Temu Sase-10.
Yes.
And then this image got more news because at one point, Jon Favreau had hinted that fans would really enjoy the name of the Imperial Shadow Council member. So some detectives, according to this article on the Star Wars Newsnet, dug into the metadata of the images to discover if they put in the metadata the names of these characters, and allegedly they did. So this is all a big allegedly. So according to the metadata detectives, the Imperial Shadow Council member's name is Lord Janu, Janu, and the Iktachi's name is Hog's Breath. Hogsbreth, which also just seems cruel. And again, really want to highlight, I'm pulling this from Star Wars Newsnet, who I think always reports responsibly, in my opinion. And this is what some metadata detectives found, and maybe it's true, maybe it isn't, who knows. So Ken, we'll talk about the names, but I want to hear your thoughts on metadata detective work. Is this the new leaked Lego box? Do you trust this information? Where do you go with this?
I think, it is kind of the leaked Lego box, which I trust the Lego ones a little bit more than this. But the reason I trust the reporting, but maybe that's something they would have thought about in advance. Like, what if someone's looking at our metadata? Let's give them some, Space Bear kind of nickname. Let's give him a production Blue Harvest kind of name here. So I could see it going another direction. However, that said, I'm on board with this. But I respect the game on this too. I don't love spoilers and all that kind of stuff, but names aren't necessarily the case. And then with John teasing it, I mean, when John teases it, what else are you going to do but look for the name? You can start looking through trash cans for Johnny Coyne's, discarded call sheet or something like that if he has a paper version of
it. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I hope it's accurate. I want to believe that the metadata detectives are doing this out of love and passion, as fans have for years. It can be fun to look for the secret clues to information that will be readily available in a month and a half. But it also feels to me like it could also be the fact that we live in an economy where these kind of things are valuable. You'll get clicks. So I hope it's more from love and less from clicks. And I don't really have any opinion of like, well, yeah, this could be true because it's not that big of a deal what these characters' names are. It's not, it's not like it's going to be, his last name's Solo. He's Han's dad. Like I was not expecting a revelation, so.
God, you're also, you're bringing up two big Star Wars news points. The Han Solo dad in the comic series was a little lighter, but when Jaina Solo, not Jaina Solo, Santa Star Wars, but Santa Solo shows up and it's like, I'm his wife. And remember, that was like big controversy over all stuff. And it turns out it was not what it was. And you just needed to wait to the next issue or read the goddamn issue. Like you're taking me back to that era. But this is fun. These names are good.
And Mumbo Jumbo, I think, brings up a very good point here. I assume the metadata isn't spoiler significant. Lucasfilm is incredibly secretive, so much so that an employee could be fired. Yeah, and and there's some discussion about what exactly metadata is. Yeah, it's not stuff that's like deeply hidden. It's not like there aren't there's no hacker somewhere going, I'm in. So I agree with Mumbo Jumbo that if maybe they're like, ooh, hey, find this, detectives. Anyway. Imagining that these names are indeed legitimate and no crimes were committed in procuring them, what do you make of the name Lord Janu and the fact that if that is the real name and Jon Favreau was like, you guys are going to love this, what do you think he was talking about?
I hope, I'll just say right now, I hope both these names are true. But I really want this one to be true based on John's comment so that we can get a follow-up of like what, and maybe there'll be some reference, maybe there's something you and I are missing. I don't know. I don't have a understanding of this name being anything special, but I absolutely love this. I'd love to be in John's kitchen right now making a sandwich with him going, what does that mean? what does Janu mean? Oh, what is it coming from? So I like seriously, anyone has a thought of it, like Eli says that Lord Janu sounds like a name from Legends, maybe referring to the name of another Imperial. I don't know. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, Star Wars Newsnet was doing a deep dive on it, and some cameo role that Pablo Hidalgo played at one point has been given the name Janu. So, like, I don't think it's supposed to be Pablo Hidalgo. I think it might just be a portmanteau of Jon Favreau. Janu,
Johnny Favs.
Yeah. So I'm much more interested in the Lord part of it. If that is true, I'm really hoping for. I'm really hoping for this character to be important because I think this actor is fantastic and terrifying. And I also like the story of things that this isn't for the Imperials who can continue are going to be more warlords as they're described. And like, you think of like Piet was not a warlord. He was like a bureaucratic officer. Like, yes, he's a military guy, but he's a part of an organized system. And the people who are left are fanatics fighting for territory and dominance, not ass kissers who are climbing a kind of ladder when the Empire is the way it is. So the Lord part actually really excites me because, like, is this guy who sees himself more like a king? I don't think he's literally a Sith, but like a warlord. Is he the kind of guy who's like, do what I say, and then, or I'll, beat you to death like I'm Al Capone. I'm the Lord, That's what's interesting to me about it.
He has for the audio listeners, I apologize. For the video, I'm gonna bring this back up. He's got He's got real crime lord, mobster Capone vibes, right? He looks like a Boardwalk Empire cast member. I
He
think that could
does.
work. I like what you're pitching there. You guys are gonna be in trouble if you cross Lord Janu.
General Cameron says, if Janu is just John's name mashed up, this is like Paul Bettany teasing that he got to work with an amazing actor in WandaVision, but it just ended up being himself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Favreau knows, and he knows the game, but he also kind of at this point in his career has fun, goofy dad vibes. Like he'd be like, "Oh, you're all gonna love this, Janu," and we're like,
"It's
what,
me."
What now?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
So my other extremely important question about this, Ken, is Hog's Breath the cruelest name since Prune Face?
It might be, but I'm on board with this. I think obviously there's a lot of decision making that goes into names and characters and things. But if you're sitting down and John's writing a script, maybe Dave's been busy and he's not. John's like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to work on show up Tuesday, the office, but I'm going to put some stuff down Monday. You can't convince me that John knows that Prune Face or Hammerhead or any of those characters have actual names, right? I don't think he's going to be like. What now? So I think he's probably like, again, like, oh, I'm going to call him Hog's Breath, and we'll have an action figure, Hog's Breath, just like Prune Face.
Just like Prune Face, yeah. I think Hog's Breath seems pretty villainous, so at least he'll earn the name. Unlike poor Prune Face, that I did not understand was part of the rebellion, because of the cruel name that I associated with villains like Walrus Man. Don't judge by a name, kids.
Yeah, John, his name's Ori Marco. What now? No, I have the Kenner figure right here.
It's Prune Face. And he's got an old West rifle. That's what the action figure came with. They just ran out of blasters, I guess. Anyway. Okay, moving on. That's our first story of the day. And our second is about this new Maul Shadow Lord clip. Disney and Lucasfilm via IGN released the first minute-long clip from the upcoming series Maul Shadow Lord. And the clip shows, I believe, Rook Cast and several other Mandalorians being pursued by security forces on Janix when Maul appears and shows his proficiency with a laser sword by batting back a lot of blasters, and it ends with him jumping to do some cutting and some pain. So, Ken, did you see this clip? Are you excited about this clip? What got you?
Yeah, you know what's nice about this? I saw this very organically. Just something else popped up. Maybe it was on Instagram. I don't know. And I just saw, I follow Star Wars and on Instagram and all that stuff. But it wasn't like I was like, oh, new clip dropped or there's a story about it. I got a perfect news. It's just like in my daily, like, where's some more squirrel content? Oh, I got Darth Maul doing some stuff. Maul, excuse me. Yeah, no, I did see it. And I think it is exciting. I think we can kind of maybe, I don't know, maybe it has some context clues to me of just where it might be because it's an intro. This is an intro. This is a pro wrestler showing up for the big match here with Maul. So I'm excited about it and excited how it looks, which is I'm not saying that was surprise. The Star Wars animation has been on point for a while and has grown leaps and bounds from Clone Wars in 2008, the movie. So as we always say, it looks beautiful, but it looks. I don't know if this makes sense. The animation looks fast. Like it's smooth. It's bumping. They're jumping around. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's really great to see the lightsaber in full action and see that great blur on it and in something that's a little longer than just a trailer clip. Yeah, I mean, it made me really excited to just be like, okay, we're so close. I just want to watch the damn show. Because the whole thing, it's different, but it's got that classic Clone Wars Bad Batch vibe, and I'm so excited for it. But I think what I really liked about this little 1 minute clip, talk a little bit about this in our Rogue One discussion later this week. But I really like seeing Sith and other Force users through other people's eyes because it makes them fresh for us. And I feel like in this clip, we kind of see Maul through the cop's eyes of like, the cops are chasing the Mandalorians. They kind of got him on the ropes. And then this other guy arrives. And just the way this whole scene is structured is the door opens and it's this sort of like, it's the way the cops are seeing them of like, I thought we were fighting Mandalorians and there's a monster here with a laser sword, which maybe they've seen, maybe they haven't. I'm sure they're aware they exist, but just the ferocity of it and the fact that it ends with a shot from a Janix cop perspective of Maul leaping at him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That look
Yeah.
cool.
So I believe that is a Rook cast in this. So I thought this was a good opportunity to touch base on that because there's so much going on in the Maul trailers for this show that we haven't had as much of a time to talk about it. I've been thinking a lot about Rook cast in the Mandalorian presence in this show. So, Kenner, what are your hopes for Rook cast and the Mandalorians and their involvement in the show?
I would love there to be some sort of fallout or complication that develops between them. We know where they were and where they, I think I'd call them the true believers in whatever Maul was preaching. But you know what I mean? Where like this is a little bit where I talk about the context. Like this has episode 1 kind of energy to it, right? And everything is kind of flowing along smooth. But I just like the idea of I'm not saying I'm expecting Rook cast to turn or turn on Maul, but I don't know. Maul's a guy who doesn't keep his connections. He doesn't keep his friends. So I think maybe I'm looking at the Mandalorians overall as still an honorable group, and the Maulorians maybe not as much. So maybe there's some kind of change. There's so much going on in this show as we speed through the criminal underworld, and got Maul, got a potential Padawan, we got all the stuff that I think it's a fun X factor to have Rook cast of the Mandalorians even around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really, really excited for the Mandalorians. I'm excited for the Night Brothers too, because I want in this show to understand the connections that Maul has, and if he is allowing himself any sort of emotion, or are they all just we know they are chess pieces to move around a board, but is there anything more for him? And from Rook casts in these Mandalorians' behavior of, I want to understand why, if they're still loyal to Maul, and why. After all this time, and he's failed, he's lost Mandalore. Is it from Rook cast just total Death Watch cult behavior of, we have rules and you killed our former leader and you are the leader of Death Cult, Mandalorian or not, and I'm a true believer and just dogmatically following the cult rules? Or is this a true belief in Maul? Like, he is the strongest. I believe in being with the strongest. Is it more emotional? I'm not writing any fan fiction here of Maul and Rook cast hooking up or anything, but is it, emotional? Does she actually care about him? And that's interesting to me, because is Rook cast someone that Maul could have connection with? And we know his tragedy continues to be wanting a little bit of connection, but not allowing it. So I'm very curious to see people that he could have connection with, like the Night Brothers and Rook cast, show up and have him use them and throw them away.
I like that. I like the, I just like this. Maul's complicated, man. He can't keep his friends. He's always, and he's the problem. You know what? And this is Maul's that we all have that friend that's like upset at everyone else, and they're like, "Hey, the constant is you. The constant is you."
Yep. And the other thing I want to talk about with this, and then we got a couple of hog's breath thoughts that I want to jump back to.
Yes.
So this little 1-minute trailer shows us yet again that Maul is great at grand entrances. Every entrance, pretty much. Obviously the doors in Phantom Menace, but even stepping into that hologram in Phantom Menace when we first see him with the arms folded, like this total wrestling promo. Tune in to ABC tonight for Maul Insidious. Great at grand entrances. If you were going to see Maul somewhere in real life, Ken, how would you want him to enter?
Big as possible. Like I want to experience what Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan kind of go through, or even Padme. Like, we'll take the long way. That's what I want. I want, if I'm in a mall, I'm at the Northridge Fashion Center, and the elevator door opens up, and it's him there. That's what I want. I want it to be loud. I want music to play. I want it to be as real as possible.
And
quite frankly, if they add Maul to like Galaxy's Edge or something like that, they've got to have a little portable speaker box that just plays Duel of Fates on repeat as he's walking around.
That's legitimately scary to me, to imagine just some guy walking around dressed as Maul. That's terrifying to me. So a thing that I think about a lot in California, having grown up in the Midwest, and this is a joke I've made to you before, of I think a tagline for Los Angeles is, Los Angeles, you never know when you might be outside. Because because there's so many buildings in Los Angeles where you walk into a front door of a restaurant and they like take you to your seating area, and then you suddenly look up and there's no roof, there's still walls, but now there's no ceiling. You're just outside again. And that just so many apartment buildings where you open the front door and like, I'm in an apartment building. No, I'm in a courtyard. And like, that does not happen in the Midwest. Inside is inside, period. So I think it would be really great if I walked into a restaurant and suddenly, and I thought there was a roof, but then suddenly Maul just drops through and I realize there's no roof. It's just Maul falling from the sky and pasta flies everywhere. It'd be terrifying.
There's a great little breakfast spot, Ventura and Vineland, and same thing. Joe started. I walked to the back, sat down, and I was like, "Why does that tree go? Oh, there's no roof. There is no roof. So maybe Maul's in the tree. I could just jump down."
This is another thing that I thought about bringing up, and since Jared brings it up, let's touch base on this, Ken. How do we feel about Duel of the Fates becoming Maul's theme motif and becoming less the motif of Anakin's fate coming into sight? Yeah, because maybe this is not the music that's in the actual show, but in this little clip, the Cora Marta goes hard when we see Maul. So how are you feeling about that, Ken?
I kind of feel it's always been the case. I understand that it's not, officially, and there's so many wonderful conversations to be had about the Duel of the Fates and the battle, and everyone can go check out Dave's Disney Gallery speech from a couple years ago. But I just kind of always think it's just connected to the Phantom Menace, and it's connected to Maul, it's connected to the double lightsaber, it's connected to the video being on TRL Live. I just think it's just one of the things that might not be originally intended, but it is now just part of pop culture. And so I just I'm not saying this snarky like now everyone else is on board. I'm just this is how it's used. It's a theme song. It's an entrance music piece.
Yeah, and we're getting opinions from the chat. Channel 19 says it can be two things. As Fetnik says, I think it's always been both. Ochi fan says, I understand the frustration from some, but at this point, it has become so associated with the character that I'm just rolling with it. I think, for me, I think this is almost a case of like, sometimes the artists can't control the association that's made by the audience. And if George in John Williams intended it is, this is the sound of this battle, this is the sound of this time, it became so associated with Maul. I didn't blink when it was used in Solo, because to me it has this weight of Maul's actions are in his presence, in his power, in his possibility, are one of the hinges of fate in this galaxy. Of actions he takes affects other people, and the sound just makes sense for him, of just like this power and anger and fear. There's so much in that music and intensity that just rolls off this guy, that this is the sound people feel in their soul. In like that great shot when the lightsaber is in Kira's eyes in Solo, and it's not as loud, but it's what she's feeling of like, oh, Cora Marta. This is a power that people don't understand that I have to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's the thing most associated with him, I think, from when we all, generally, all of us got to beat him for the first time.
Yeah, so great side trip into choral power. Let's jump back to Hog's Breath for just a second.
Yes.
I think I started here. We have a strong opinion from I didn't start. There we go. From Jared the Dark Jedi, poking my head in to lament that after years of waiting for some of my beloved prequel aliens to show up in something, and they named this beautiful Itachi Hog's Breath. Come on, man. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like this is disrespecting the Itachi people?
It could be. He could be very proud of it. This could be something that is done with pride. Having the worst smelling breath could be something that's he's striving for. No, I get it. I mean, you're talking to the man who was like Captain Phasma for years. Like Star Wars names could be uniquely frustrating. Which I say uniquely because we're in a world where Luke Skywalker and Han Solo were always at the center of it for us growing up, and those are kind of weird names, silly names in their own regard. I think when you pull back, when you try to explain it to a non-Star Wars fan, he's he's Skywalker. He goes walking in the sky. Got it, got it. So I think it's I always have a unique relationship. But yeah, no, it's like everyone's praising Therm Scissor Punch, perhaps the greatest name of all time in any. And I'm just saying in cinema. I also have those moments where you want something else for some of the characters. I get it. I get it, Jared. I get it. But I'm all hog's breath.
Maybe in the original Itachi, it means like, yes, walk in the park or beautiful rose on summer's day. In Genie from Tahini has a theory that the names are reversed. Maybe the metadata detectives got it wrong, and
Could
it is,
be.
and that Itachi has the noble name Lord Janu.
That's fantastic. Actually, yeah. Yep. Nothing's final till we hear the names uttered. Though, keeping with some Star Wars tradition, we might never hear the name of Hog's Breath. It just might be his name.
Yeah. And a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of people are associating that think it sounds like a flower. It does kind of sound like a flower name in real life. So maybe he's a serial killer, and on every victim he lives a flower called a Hog's Breath. It's really cool.
I like Mumbo Jimbo's comment here. Similar to the 1980s He-Man Stinkor action figure, maybe Hog's Breath will have a bad smell baked into the plastic. Great reference, and let's hope this is true.
And we can have a whole big discussion with our friend Ken Plume about what Star Wars action figures should smell like.
There you go.
Moving on to more creatures, but a mystery creature. This is a little news blip about Star Wars Starfighter. Ryan Gosling gets quality glup shitto time in Star Wars Starfighter. Here is what the article on Star Wars Newsnet says. While promoting Project Hail Mary, Gosling explained to BBC Radio that while he couldn't say much about the upcoming Star Wars movie, he did state at about 25 minutes into the discussion that one of his favorite movie mementos came from Star Wars Starfighter. Here's a quote from Ryan Gosling in the interview. There's a thing that happened on Starfighter. I'm going to have to tread carefully, but I went to the creature shop early to see everything that they were building so that I could find ways to interact with them in the film, because I didn't want them to just be going by in the background. And I found one very special one that was meant to be a background character, and I asked if I could have a scene with it. And it ended up being one of the most fun scenes I've ever done. As my wrap present, they made me a model. And so I have it in my house now. And if we weren't being filmed, I would tell you the story about that because it was fun. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Ken, what kind of scene are you imagining that Ryan Gosling successfully demanded, and with what kind of creature?
I mean, I hope this is a musical number, some sort of dance number, that we got another Oscar-nominated song so we can have him perform again, and maybe Slash and Wolfgang Van Halen show up again. This is what I want. This is what my thought is. You know what? Here's what jumps out more than anything, is that there's a very clear love and excitement for what they have done, and that there's again, they're highlighting things, not highlighting any negative experiences. Obviously, I get that, but I just like the energy that's coming from anyone who talks about what they did over on that set. That's what I like.
Yeah, I really like just this story that he wanted to be that involved and wanted to me that speaks of sort of a commitment to wanting this to feel very real, the same way that we applaud Mark Hamill for making Yoda feel real. It is what Oz did, that he had a desire to go like, okay, what are these characters like? How can I interact with them? How can I make them feel like they are as real and valid as the human characters? I love that he just fell in love with the background weirdo.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking like, it's going to be we're on the run. We're walking through a market and it's him saying, I'll take 2 of those, and some, furry elf going doobada, and like that's his big scene. Yeah. I suspect that it is not like this is a scene where Ryan Gosling's character emotionally breaks down and confides.
Right.
Tells his truth, his I want moment. I don't,
I hope that that's maybe it's a character that in this kind of scenario you're pitching here, where it's like, maybe it's the son of Meber Gascon. I don't know. Maybe it's something silly, but everyone's kind of looking for Gosling's character, and so he kind of is like, hey, nice little cute thing, and they pull out like a vibro blade, and it's a fight scene because they gotta try to kill him for money. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that he saw this character in the model shop is like, that's so disgusting. It's so awful. I must kill it. Had a scene in the
Yeah,
movie where I kill it.
yeah, yeah. Indeed.
Probably not. Uh, we'll have plenty of time in the next year to talk about Starfighter, but I was kind of curious. I realized I think I've been kind of forming an opinion with almost no information in my head about what the Ryan Gosling character might be like. And I was curious to check in with you, Ken, of like, what are you hoping or thinking for the Ryan Gosling character? What kind of archetype he is?
Yeah, it's hard not to look at the kind of lovable scoundrel guy, right? It's hard not to look at that. I hope there is I hope there is some tasty, juicy darkness in his past. You know what I think of? Jarek Yeager, Star Wars Resistance, who's got a lot of scars. It's why we love Resistance around here. And yeah, it was packaged and aimed maybe a little younger, but it's got some really adult themes all the way through it. And not like the show was marketed for 6-year-olds, but Jarek Yeager, a war hero, dealing with loss, dealing with maybe even some PTSD, dealing with some big things there. I would like that, if it's Starfighter, right, that we've got something that we can mine that I think would be poignant, that will, using Gosling, just who he is in this role, as someone to maybe break down an archetype of the strong, sturdy Starfighter, the cooler than cool character who is actually becoming or is now more in touch with his emotions, in touch with what it means to really be a father, to really be a hero, to maybe really be a man in the terms of this Star Wars space. I think if you got Gosling in this spot, I think he's good at that. I think that's some of the stuff that's going on in his career that he brings. It's not just a wry smile and a wink, but I think he brings a different kind of energy to the leading man role. I think for me includes Fall Guy. He's got the abs, but he's got the heart. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, one of his films that I really love is The Nice Guys. He's so good in that, and it's tilted a little bit more to the comedic, but it is kind of a lovable loser who pushes hard to do the right thing. And I'm kind of fascinated. I think I kind of go to a little bit of the somewhere between Han Solo and Jod and Nawood of scoundrel with maybe a heart of gold kind of thing seems baked into the plot, and Gosling is so good at playing the rogue with the heart of gold. But then I think about it in the context of the timeline. It was like Starfighter. I'm sure he could have been a part of some private outfit, but it's also interesting to me of like, hey, I fought in the Resistance First Order War, and now I race ships for fun, and I don't want to put my neck on the line. I survived the war and I have trauma and I don't want to do this, but somebody needs help, so I'll begrudgingly do it. I think that's the kind of thing that's like, I'm not going to become overly attached to it because I just want the story to be the story, but that is the way it's kind of living in my mind.
Yeah, no, I can meet you there on that one too. Yeah, I like the use of John Denelwood, but just maybe the more nicer, true hero version of that. But that's one of my favorite characters. So if we can have something like that, and one big hope for I have for the characters is that he actually survives. Not in the sense that we need more stories with him, but there's always that potential. But I'd like that to happen. I don't need the loss of a parent figure or something.
Yeah. And we'll see what the story does, but there's a part of me that feels like the 50th anniversary that there might be a desire to follow the model of the first film where awful things happen and people die, including, Obi-Wan, but that you kind of walk out of the theater bouncing.
Fist pumping.
Fist pumping. Yeah. So if you could take a creature model home with you, what creature model, or I guess it was made for him, what would you want, Ken?
I'm trying to think of, I'm just now in the middle of Jabba's palace and I'm surrounded by things that I don't necessarily want. I think in a weird way, I'd want to conquer my early fears as a 7-year-old, and I'd want one of the Rancor maquettes that they use, because I was so terrified of it as a kid. And I have other Rancor things. You were there when I bought one Funko Pop Rancor in Las Vegas, which I think I have since sold, actually. So I would like that. I would like, so I could put up there and be like, I am not the scared 7-year-old that I once was.
I think that's great. I think that's great. I'll go the other way, and I'll embrace the comedy, and I would like a little Claude, because I think we're gonna have a long wait for a Claude action figure, because they love talking about how many points of articulation they put on the vintage figures, and not many for Claude. So I would love a little Claude.
So there was, I think it's since closed. There was like a toy shop in Burbank that popped up. That was actually a family's personal collection of things they were just trying to get rid of, and they just had enough money, kind of a wealthy family, and they opened up a store. Me and Maddie Gunner was visiting, and we walked in there, and they have a life-size Jar Jar Binks for $10,000. Life-size, very detailed. Very detailed. I don't know what happened to it. It's not in the window anymore. What's your going rate for a life-size Claude?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, you can't put a value on love. You can't put a price on love. But 2,000 seems fair for a life-size Claude that you can just get up in the morning and hug.
Now, what if life-size, and true to texture and feeling, like it would be when you give him a hug.
It's very true, because he looks very wet, but people seem to really want to hug him. So everybody was sweaty at that party. So who knows?
He does look a little wet. Little space slug.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I want body pillow Claude. I don't think I need him to be moist. I think I want him to be soft, so I can hug him.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
Really feels like we're tackling the most hard-hitting of news today. Our last news bit is it's definitely connected to Star Wars, but it is a little bit real world. It's very real world because it's about the real world. Anyway, Disney backs out of the AI deal with Sora that they had announced. So the company OpenAI announced that they were shutting down their generative AI video project Sora. In response, Disney canceled their $1 billion investment that they had announced into Sora. Here's a quote from Disney. As the nascent AI field advances rapidly, we respect OpenAI's decision to exit the video generation business and to shift its priorities elsewhere. We appreciate the constructive collaboration between our teams and what we learned from it, and we will continue to engage with AI platforms to find new ways to meet fans where they are while responsibly embracing new technologies that respect IP and the rights of creators. Just as that was their official press release. And here's a little bit from Star Wars Newsnet, which I think is kind of a good reminder of what Disney intended. Disney's original idea was to incorporate Sora as a feature on Disney Plus, such that fans would be able to watch curated selections of Sora-generated videos on the platform using IP licensed by Disney, including Star Wars characters and locations. They had added at the time, Sora and ChatGPT images are expected to start generating fan-inspired videos with Disney's multi-branded licensed characters in early 2026. So I think the idea was, hey, I can make a video of Darth Vader and Dr. Doom playing chess and doing a dance together. And if Disney thinks it's cool enough, they'll put it in their AI-generated section. I think most people who are ForceCenter regulars know that I have many concerns about AI, so I am happy about both the cancellation of Sora and the cancellation of the deal. We can talk in more detail, but I want to be really clear that I'm personally happy about this. Ken, do you have big picture thoughts before we get into more details?
Yeah, it just seems this is kind of, I think you'll start seeing more of this there as the, I don't want to say the bubble burst, but as some of the realities of it and just the uses of it. And this was always a weird pitch. Anyways, I don't necessarily think this is not going to happen on Disney Plus if someone else emerges, which is part of what maybe our follow-up discussion is. But yeah, if you can put a spike strip in front of this so-called inevitability, I think that's a good thing. I just wondered too, like this would have, and I say would have, again, still might happen, but this just wouldn't have. I don't. This is such a corporate C-suite meeting of hey, would it be cool if, and I think just on that level, forget the big giant world changing problems, but just like, man, you're wrong on this. I don't want to call anyone out. I was just at a stand-up show recently. I was on a stand-up show, and it was a Star Trek themed stand-up show, and they actually had a performer from Star Trek, an older gentleman, and he, not a comic, but he went up and did some comedy. and then ended his comedy speech with a AI Star Trek parody that he had created. Okay. And he just stood there on stage awkwardly while the worst 4 minutes of entertainment ever flashed on screen. I have a couple of witnesses in the audience who were just like, it was amazingly bad, and he stood right there. And that's kind of the summary of what this kind of stuff is to me. I have said before, I use AI in some other kind of smaller capacities, and have had. I think I come to the same place on you on it and everything, but I've just had maybe a different path over the last year or two with some of it. But this, I don't push off this stuff. It's just you're not doing anything with this. This isn't life changing. This isn't a doctor using it to solve something. Which even then, do you trust it? This is C-suite bullshit, and I don't think it's the end of it, but I like it. I like it stopping.
I wanted to talk about that particular element because it is funny to me that the proponents of AI talk about it in the exact same way that Star Wars villains talk about other people's fates. Vader and Palpatine and Kylo, before they come to their senses, are always telling our heroes, it's inevitable. It is your destiny. I feel like that's the same way that proponents of AI have been pushing it. But yeah, the disconnection to changing, evolving opinions in the public is concerning to me. I think I've mentioned this before. I was involved in a show that was an animated show that was being developed and pitched, and our pitch was coming up right in the height of NFTs blowing up. And I found myself in one of those weird conversations where some of the folks involved wanted us to make the show about NFTs now, or find a way to insert NFTs. And there was a circle of people discussing, they're like, oh, we just have to. It's the savvy thing to do. It's the smart thing to do. Oh yeah, we have to. And like,
right.
What? I was like, I laughed. And then it's like, oh no, they're all serious. They can't see that a large part of the world sees this as a flash in the pan. It was the sensible thing among smart, savvy, higher end Hollywood business decision makers. I do feel that in this. I think that's one of my biggest questions about this, that press release from Disney is worded to acknowledge many of the concerns around AI, but it's also not shutting the door on, we're going to announce a different billion-dollar deal with a different company next week. Right. But what I really hope is that a part of this was, the temperature is turning financially. The bubble is, bursting here and there. So this is a welcome place, a lucky place for us to have a get off ramp. I really hope that's what it is, but I am still concerned that they'll just pivot to a different company.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately.
So I'm just scanning through some of the comments here, and I do think I'm glad Jared joined us out of Itachi Fury, because he makes a great point here. Who said, I've said this on the Nerd Academy, but I find it deeply frustrating and insulting that the company known for legal action against schools for showing movies maybe not throw IP like this. Yeah, I mean, I think that was my other kind of follow-up question for you, Ken, that the CEO, Josh D'Amaro, the new CEO, has been really clear about wanting to find new ways to engage with people, and he wants to make Disney Plus a priority, and he wants to have more ways for people to engage with it. So I don't agree with it at all. I don't like it. I'm glad it's dead, but I trying to understand where he's coming from. The idea of like, oh, well, we own these characters. You go make Darth Vader and Dr. Doom dance, have fun, is a way to engage. I don't want that engagement. I don't think it's going to be good. Well, what do you want personally as a fan? Like, if you want to engage more with Star Wars in characters you love in Star Wars, how do you want to do that? What more do you want from Disney Plus than watching things or being able to play the characters in Fortnite?
I want an interface that works better. How about that? Let's start there. I don't even have the Star Wars section anymore, and then when I dare try to pause to get a screenshot or go look at a scene in Rogue One because I was like, oh, did I miss that scene? I want to talk about it in our episode. Like it goes janky. How about get that right? then I'll worry about interacting with it. I like, to a degree, as we always say, we don't go out of our way to defend CEOs. I like some of the stuff he has said and done. I like some of the reputation and respect I've heard from the inside for this guy. I get it, and it's a new era. And again, I say that carefully because you and I were open that we kind of like Uncle Bob, and then Uncle Bob went on his yacht and maybe shit the bed a little bit, and his comeback, to be blunt. Apologize for more ForceCenter swear words finding their way on the show recently. But so I don't know what he's envisioning. I don't fully understand it. If posting fan films, I mean, people know my feeling on fan films overall. So I'm not good. It's not a section I'm gonna go to a comment section. I don't know what he means by interactive. Like I just
I think for me, I think that's the thing is like I think this is something like I try to be aware of generational changes, and I don't really enjoy TikTok. Like somebody will send me one and I'll be like, that's very funny or that's very clever, but just this kind of like almost hypnotized constant, here is 30 seconds to a minute to 2 minutes of idea, and you refresh and you refresh and you refresh, and it just kind of goes in this sort of parade. I don't like that, but it might be a legitimate thought that, well, other people's minds are geared that way. And it's just, I wonder if it's less about AI and deepening your connection with Darth Vader and being like, it's Disney Plus, you can watch your movies with a side of TikTok. Now just scroll and watch all of the different Darth Vader dancing videos.
Oh God.
I don't want that. I don't want that personally. I want I do want fan films. I think that would be a fantastic way to push back against the AIification of art, of trying to make it fast and easy and push a button, and a tool that is built on theft, a tool that is destroying the environment, a tool that is owned by a handful of people who can and will use it in manipulative ways. If Disney had gone through this with this, there's nothing stopping Sam Altman from hitting a button that says no more black characters. Period. You can't generate a Lando anymore because I use this all powerful tool to enforce my view of the world. There's so many things wrong with the tool. But even just if all those things weren't a concern and it was just a push a button to make something, I don't feel like people learn. They don't deepen their craft. They don't deepen their love. And I think one of the greatest things Lucas ever did is the internet is exploding. Thanks to me, digital filmmaking is exploding, and people are making funny videos about stormtroopers. Instead of fighting it and chasing it down, I'll make rules about what they can and can't say. So it's not, I'm not going to put Twilight porn out here. But other than that, fan film contest. Disney would, I think, get so much out of curating a fan film contest and letting it be. And it would be a great pushback against AI of like, no AI. You get yourself your phone and your friends, and you make a funny Claude costume. And they can make whatever stipulations they want about the content, about the length, about how it's judged and all that. And if they really want the side of TikTok on Disney Plus, make it out of real art made by people.
Yeah. I would be on board for that. I know I'm historically snarky on fan films. It's usually the attitude and reception that behind them that this is the real sequels. Get the hell out of here. So I'll put that aside to say you have a really good idea there. You also have a scary idea that I'm going to be careful. Don't speak it into the universe, because you're talking about pop-up video with Disney Plus, to where while you're watching, you can also access TikToks of reaction videos to those moments or something. Like it's scary to me. Like, oh no, that might seem like a good idea to a C-suiter. I was watching. I was at someone's house last night watching old episodes of Columbo on Amazon Prime, I think it was, or something. And during the commercial breaks, all the links to Amazon products were popping up, and I was like, "Well, that's convenient and scary." So be careful. We don't speak that in the universe.
Yeah,
Second screen experience.
Yeah, I think it was during the Super Bowl. They kept being like no, it's during the Olympics. It kept being QR codes for like, do you not want to get off your couch?
Yeah.
Have mac and cheese delivered to you. Like, you're watching these people who have trained and studied the height of their power. Like, I don't want to get off the couch for mac and cheese, which is fair.
Exactly.
I don't. And people are talking about Verts, I guess, a sort of a TikTok that they announced that is made of like, and I'm not up on this. I want real human interaction, and obviously we have our whole podcast YouTube channel is talking about Star Wars, and through that comes community, and they can find a way to do that on Disney Plus. If they can open up to, you know what, anybody who wants can upload their audio commentary, and again, scan it for whatever that you want to allow or not allow. But if they want more interaction, like, hey, make it like you can watch Star Wars now. Here's 800 audio commentaries you can choose to add to it. If they want to drive people to spend more time on it, just find real people having real opinions, real art, real community, not fake.
Yeah. Maybe there's a podcast section, just like the old Star Wars website had. Top Star Wars podcast, which I think blew up their face a little bit. Do that. Basically, I'm just campaigning to put ForceCenter on there, right? I'm sure no extra money. In fact, we probably have to pay them, but
I'm sure. And Jared Kozol here says, interesting. I have a lot of baggage around fan films and fan edits because of this is how it should have been nonsense attitude they engender, but it's done with love. I guess it could work. Yeah, I personally am not a huge fan. Sometimes there's like the spoofs I like that here's how the fight should have been between Obi-Wan and Vader is absolutely not for me. And I think it's just I like the idea of them, and I like the wisdom that Lucas had to say not everything has to be defensive about don't touch this property. It can let people in and let them play and explore. And for me, like the value of people picking up a camera or a phone and playing and exploring is that process. The value of that process is more valuable to me than the result.
I agree with that. There's a lot of love into a lot of fan films and stuff. It's different conversation. Doesn't matter. I always offend. I have some people who do the stuff. They do it out of love. I just think I've never met someone who's made a Star Wars fan film or dressed up in the 501st who fully gets Star Wars. That's my big problem. If I'm being honest, that's my big problem. If you hear someone in the 501st, you're like, you missed a lot of points. You missed a lot of points about what you're talking about, and I just get a little grumpy about it. And I have that a lot with people who make Star Wars fan films. I run into it all the time.
If Disney Plus added fan films, I'd be like, that's so great, and a lot of them wouldn't be for me.
Wouldn't be for me. But again, speaking of generalities on a show, morning radio and y'all. I'm trying to put a hot take into the world. But anyways, overall, this is an interesting conversation. The AI stuff is one thing, and I think it's good, at least, like I said, a spike strip in the road in front of this. But his comments about the internet, I almost can't wrap my head around it, which is okay, because this might be I can't envision. I'm not in this line of work. I can't envision what they're thinking, right? I think there's some to that. This is why I think the AI thing got so murky and is bad and is being used so bad, and maybe always technology has. But like going back to iPhones coming out and you're going to be able to watch things on your hand. Like, what are you talking about? That's George Jetson stuff right there. I don't have those kind of visions. I'm not up there in those jobs, so I can't fully grasp what he's trying to say. I'm like, I don't want a comment section, and I just want to watch things smoothly.
I think
for the price you're charging me.
Yes, and I go back and forth about how much this is a generational perspective and how much of it's this is true. But for me, I think it is. I think it's also a part of the everything has to be the everything app of like. I like tools that do what they do really well. Right. They engender love and dedication and loyalty and money from me. The more a thing beeps and chirps at me and tries to take all my time and tries to make sure I never leave it, the more I resent it and despise it. And I think, sadly, that's what this is about. Of like, you come home after work and you throw on Disney Plus because you want to catch this episode of Maul, and we don't want you to leave. So we want there to be more things for you to scroll and scroll and scroll, which is why I'm like, if you want people to stay there, make sure it's about community and connection, and that time spent is valuable, not just a like we hypnotized you into staying here, because every app, the laundry machine app for my apartment building wants to be my best friend and wants me to spend all my time there. No tool wants to be just a tool. It wants to be your everything. And I fear that's what he's after.
Could be. Yeah, could be. Very well. Very well could be, indeed. I didn't know about the Vert thing. The Vert market's blowing up. I totally get it. It's so... And I agree with that. Everyone made fun of the big company that launched a few years ago that burned up real fast. God, what was the name of that? Quibi?
Quibi. I think Quibi was a victim of its time.
It was
right before the lockdown of the pandemic, when people were like, I'm not on the go and I don't want short form content. I want to watch Deep Space Nine and bake 1,000 loaves of bread.
Yeah, I actually believe that maybe there's, my partner at the time was cast as a host of a show, and they were throwing money down the drain, and it just, throwing money out and it ended up being down the drain. I think the idea was good. Vertical content made for the format's interesting. I don't think I need Star Wars official stuff, but I'll look more into that too. I think it's pretty fascinating right now.
Yeah, no, the whole the vertical thing is fascinating. But we have wandered to things that are connected to Star Wars, but pretty far away. So we will begin to wrap up here. A lot of interesting ideas. Thank you guys for engaging so much and so thoughtfully in the chat.
Yeah, a couple of quick questions. Mumbo Jimbo had a very important question for you earlier, Joseph. Which Star Wars toy are you spending the most time loving these days? I'm trying to minimize my toy buying too.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly collect the Star Wars vintage figures, and to me, there's like a special. I take some out, but I keep a lot in the package because I feel like they're kind of little pieces of art, and a part of that is the figure itself. How is the figure displayed in the package? What is the package art? And it's sort of like, how do all these pieces come together? And when I went to the film festival I went to in Durham, North Carolina, I stopped at this great store that had the wall of action figures, and it had some older vintage figures. There's one I missed, which is the Phase 1 Clone Trooper, which is one of my favorite characters. And they did a thing that I love with the vintage package, where the figure is just a fantastic, just straightforward, reminds me of Stormtrooper as a kid, but it's the super cool Phase 1 Clone Trooper. And then sometimes with the vintage figures, they mimic the art of the original vintage, the original Kenner line, where the picture's kind of awkward. It isn't actually good. It's not framed well on the card, and it makes me love it even more. In the picture, the Clone Trooper is just kind of this blurry, zoomed in profile of it shooting off to the side. And like, there's something about it that just like the whole package of it is just, it gives me joy on many levels. So like, I got that one right in front of me when I'm watching television. So I look down at it. So that's
I love that
these days.
Great answer. Final one. We don't fully have an answer for, but I think we should address it. Will McLean, review schedule for Maul. Anything set? No, we're going to chat for a couple minutes after this to find how to best get through April. Joseph's got some stuff going on. I turned 50 in April. I got some stuff going on. It's Monday, Tuesday. It's going to be there. We only have to worry about it. 4 weeks? 4 weeks?
4 or 5, yeah.
4 or 5 weeks. So anyways, don't worry. Our coverage, we're excited to do this. I'm very excited for this show. So we'll have an answer soon, but didn't want to leave anyone else out there not updated.
Yep. One last comment from Gaz, because it's about action figures. It says, I spent 3 hours successfully repairing a broken arm socket on my recently purchased vintage Amanaman. I believe Gaz has been after an Amanaman for a long time. So congratulations on that and the arm socket repair. That is a good one.
Absolutely love it. Share it in if you're in the Discord, guys. Post a healed up Amanaman there. So there you go. That's it for us. Look at Star Wars news on Wednesday. We'll release our Star Wars ranked favorite scenes in Rogue One. Be live on Friday as well for another episode of ForceCenter Now. Call in, have fun with us over there. You can call in and also just support by being a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/ForceCenter. Check the merch stores at TeePublic and Fourth Wall. Like we said, don't forget to listen to the podcast, because we are a podcast. I think there's still that debate raging of video versus audio that's been going on. That we're here. You see our faces. But every Sunday we release Databank Brawl audio only. It's on the podcast feed there. Don't forget that. Follow me at CadNapsock or my website, cadnapsock.com. Come hang out with me on the show, The Blathering, live 3 times a week or more even, and find all the other adventures I got going on there. You, sir.
Yeah, you can find me on the social media at Joseph Scrimshaw. I'd love it if you checked out my YouTube page. You can just search for Joseph Scrimshaw on YouTube. The last 3 weeks, I've been putting out short films. Most recently, I put out one called Deep into Norway, which is about an actual family trip that I took to Norway. And Ken's got a really great cameo that he very kindly agreed to. So extra fun for ForceCenter viewers. But I could really use some likes. I could really use some views and subscribes. So if you're at all interested, that would really help me out. Check out Joseph Scrimshaw on YouTube.
Love it. That is it for now. We'll see you all later this week. And thanks for watching, hanging out, and listen to us here on ForceCenter.